Uh, I approach
Here we
Tegan
go.
really quickly, and I tell her, we're going to go perform a very quick um, cer- funeral ceremony,
And
as
what you
she would
notice
call it.
right away is that she has got the kids and the people settled. She has collected a new bow and a sword, and she's heading out the gate when you see her.
I say, don't do anything stupid. Um, give my companions at least an hour to get here. Maybe two, because we have a dwarf. The guy's slow. And if they have not returned by, uh, what is it, like mid-afternoon? It's what, 4 right now?
Yeah.
3. It's 3 or 4. So I mean, if they have not returned by the time the sun has, uh, I don't know. I don't know the fancy way to put it. If they're not back by at least like 5 or 6, then we can start worrying, and I will accompany you back to the cave.
Let's go ahead and
Uh,
get a persuasion roll.
oh fuck shit! I'm so awful at those. You know what? I don't care. Go
Yeah.
die.
So she
Fuck
says,
you.
Ian, I am completely in your debt for getting us free and getting these children and people home, but I have to go back for Jace. Thank you for everything you've done, but I'm heading back. And she starts heading north at a slow jog back to the north.
Fucking hate humans.
Does anybody else catch that, or is that just happen?
It's happening at the drawbridge, and she's on her way out, and you see Ian catch her. I don't know if you would intervene at that point or not. It's up to you. You're still towards the center of the area.
I will shout to her, Madam, allow us to bury our dead, and we will join you.
Go ahead and do a persuasion check. It's going to be tough, though. She doesn't know you at all. So you're going to need a pretty high roll, but maybe you'll get it.
Damn.
Oh shit!
Crazy good roll. All right, yeah, she
Bat in the eyelashes.
says,
That's a
"I'm willing to
commanding
wait."
voice.
She says to you, "I'm willing to wait an hour, but then I have to go find Jace." So she's willing to wait an hour.
That is all I ask. I will pick up Teagray, and Coffee and I will walk out, and I will look to Ian. I won't, I've invited you, but I would,
All you.
you've had a
That's
long
my-
day.
Yeah, there
I'll
are
say that
woods
you-
to the west, and there are woods to the all along the north and the west, so all northwest, and it only takes it's probably, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 football fields, a couple hundred yards out, and then you can get into some wooded area.
We run to the west because that is the direction that Evermeet is. So
Okay.
his last movement will be towards home,
Oh.
and we'll go to the woods. We will dig a grave, plant as many seeds as we can upon it, tree seeds hopefully, and then cover him with stones, water the seeds, and I will place a blessing upon the burial site.
Okay. Anything from Ian? Coffee watches silently. In fact, one of the things you've noticed so far, Ian, is that Coffee hasn't talked very much at all.
My kind of guy. I'm trying to see if there's anything I can do with my rangery magic-y abilities.
Did he have any possessions that survived the attack?
I would have brought them with me. I don't know.
He was
What he had
most
on
of his stuff was consumed by the slime, burned
Yeah.
away.
Is his
I don't
couch
think he
still
would have
there?
had. Let me check.
Or his arcane focus, the thing he used to do magic-y stuff.
Yeah, let's see if he had one listed.
Nah, don't worry about it. I'll pull the dagger from my belt, and
It's the
bury
staff.
that with him.
His staff was his arcane focus. Everything else has been damaged, including his spell book was destroyed in the slime. The pack that he had on, his dagger was gone. I think he had thrown it. his clothes are all singed, and then the staff was his arcane focus.
Okay. Yeah, I'll pull my dagger and place it in the grave with him.
I'll after I've helped bury him, I say, you were rash, but you fought bravely, Teagray. May you rest in Ardreth, and we will see you again with the dawn. And that's it.
Are you wounded at all, Ian?
No, I'm just tired. I don't have any of my spells.
Let us make haste to the north. The rest of your
Yep.
companions are still in need.
Mm-hmm. So we go back and pick up Tegan. Or
Okay.
we signal for Tegan. I'm sure she's just like outside, just pacing.
Yeah, definitely ready to go.
We signal for her.
So at the gate, you do see Zolkin. He's there waiting for you. And he mentions to Ian
Oh, good, another human. I love that.
that his message that he had sent the day before when you guys had left, he said he was sending a message to Waterdeep. So he mentions that his message got through, and what he got back was they are sending a magistrate to Nightstone, and he should be arriving by tomorrow.
Okay, thank you for the information, human mercenary whose name I don't remember.
Zolkin.
Zolkin, thank you for the information, Zolkin. Is there... I'm going to go and see if my friends were able to save anybody else. Thanks for helping with the town, I guess. I'm gonna go now. And I just walk off.
I'll put you guys
head
up
out
there.
in a brisk pace up north. With
I'm going to
the
place
rest of my...
Tegan in the cemetery again. It's funny because his token was in the cemetery on this map. Oh, so good. Foreshadowing, I guess. Okay. You guys begin to head north. You think you see some riders, a couple of riders approaching from the south on the road. But you guys are quickly heading north, and you're not really sure. It only seems like it's one or two. But you're far enough ahead that you're not sure what they are or who they are. And then you guys trot off. Are you walking? Or are you making haste, or what?
Making haste. I'm sure Tegan won't let us go slowly.
Yeah, she's trying to go at a slow trot. You know, like a jog.
I thought you wanted
I
to
guess.
save them.
Is Tegan injured?
No.
No, we're all good. We left when we were feeling good. How fast can we go?
Where is Tegan?
I didn't
In our
move all
hearts.
the 22 things down.
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah, she's
I
with
gotcha.
them. Yeah, so you guys at a fast pace. It took you 3 hours to get there before, but that was just at a walk and heading there. So you can cut that in half by if everybody's jogging.
Yeah.
And so you'll meet up with those guys halfway back, and you see in the distance in the north, you can see what appears to be, 4 people, and it looks like they're carrying something between them. And then there
And
is
do I recognize-
Jace. Yeah, Jace races forward, or Tegan races forward to catch up, and then you do recognize them.
All right, so I won't pull out my weapons, and I call out that that's the rest of my party.
Yep, and then the party kind of meets up. You can go ahead.
I approach Greybeard, and I slap him outside the head, very, very hard, as I can.
Do it.
Yeah,
Tegan embraces Jace while you're doing that.
old GB just He's got nothing left. He just nods like, "Yep."
And
I
Ian,
say
you are
you-
noticing they have brought 2 bodies out. You recognize Jace. You do not recognize the other female.
I say you will be happy to know that the rest of the humans made it back safely.
I figured you'd get there.
And I'd say you'd be happy to know these two would be dead if we hadn't gone back.
I
I say,
sincerely doubt
"Oh,
that.
now you back my play. Let's go, let's go, let's go."
I assure Tegan that Jace is still alive, but is still in need of some help.
What ails them?
We're not sure.
Poison from the spiders.
I want to see the conversation between Armel and Finn. I want to hear different voices.
Yeah.
Because that's what the DM always has to deal with.
Finn says, "What ails these two?"
And
Armel
Armel says,
It's a wee bit of poison.
he's not a leopard. He's an elf, not a leprechaun.
Finn will kneel by both in turn
gives him some
and
lucky
lay
charms.
his hands upon them and expend 5 points per and cure the poison on both.
Oh my god, that was the best thing ever.
All right, yeah, go ahead and put that in the chat area so we can see it.
Lay on hands isn't part of the player
Oh,
database. I can't
does
do
it cure poison?
Yeah.
For 5 points, it does.
Oh, you spend 5 points. I get you.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, actually, spend 10 points. I do it to both.
Oh, okay. And yeah, what does
So,
it physically look like? Because this would be the first time
He
we've seen
kneels.
something like this.
He kneels down by one and places both hands on his chest, and his magic is kind of a mix of green and gold, and it infuses into their chest and then kind of permeates through the body in small sparkles, and then he turns on his knees and performs the same ceremony to the other person.
Yeah, and they have a really peaceful look comes over them. All of the they get their complexion back. They were really pasty. All the wounds are definitely healed. They're still resting. It's still been a traumatic experience that they've been in these cocoons for enough time that they're sleeping at this point, but they're sleeping peacefully, and they have a very peaceful look on them on their faces.
It's like, well, the poison is no longer in their system, but they are exhausted.
Yeah, and you think just another good night's rest, sleep, and they'll be up and at it.
Are they
I
able
asked
to watch?
Tegan if she recognizes the other person that we found in the cave.
Yes. Let me bring up that name. Let me go back a second on my screen. She says, yes, this is, that's Grin. Let me bring up my notes here a second to give you a little more on this person.
And while you're doing that, I'll look at Finn, and I guess Coffee, and then look to Ian and ask, who are your friends?
I'm like resisting the urge to just like be very angry at all of you.
And
I'm trying to
Finn will
decide
stand up.
how I would do that.
He'll stand up and give you the same kind of elven bow, both hands up in the air. Say, my apologies. And my name is Finn Wee Hasharan, and this is my companion, Coffee Black. We are in Nightstone to render aid, and Ianagris has brought us.
I already like these people more than I like you guys.
Jarrel raises an eyebrow and then reciprocates the bow. Still a little cautious, but welcoming the help.
He gives you full respect. Doesn't you don't get any disdain from him at all, even though you're Drow.
Meanwhile, Coffee Black.
What are you saying?
I'm saying he's not a bigot like the rest of these people.
Like Ian. I know.
Hey, just because you
do we
weren't
know
here
if
when
Coffee
I
is?
defended you.
I don't. But
Coffee's the
his
biggest
character sheet looks like he might be half Drow, so who knows?
Yeah, yeah. So seeing a drow would be something very interesting to the elves for sure.
You know what? I don't know enough about Evermeet to know whether or not Drow would be welcome there. But I'm going to assume that any elf who wants to join can.
Oh, actually, the person that is there is a woman who's in her late 30s, and her name is Elise.
Cool.
Who?
Elise. I had the wrong name.
Not Gren.
Not Gren. So Elize. And Tegan will say that she's her family, the Delfrindel family, run the windmill.
There's a windmill?
Yeah.
In
I
town.
investigated it. There was nothing in it.
Oh. That's right.
So I'm going to suggest, as I glance at the sky, that we get a move on so we can get back to town. Are the two that were just cured of their poison, are they up and about?
Now
Or
they're
do we still
sleeping.
need-
Yeah, they're sleeping
Okay.
peacefully.
All right. So I just suggest that we should get a move on, get back
Yeah,
to town.
and you have enough that you can trade off and you can move a little quicker. I mean, you're still all, unless somebody's going to try to carry the dwarf, which is still going to slow you down to try to carry a couple 100-pound dwarf. He's
Let Ian
moving
do
at
that.
10 feet. You know, he's moving at the exhausted level, so it still takes you that same time. So at about 6 p.m., you guys are at the gates.
Oh, and I tell him about the magistrate thing on our 2-hour journey. I tell him that what Zelfran told me. Zolkin, that's his name.
Not
Okay.
to be confused with Zoltan.
Zoltan.
Question: is this just an artifact, or is that something that we should be paying attention to?
The cocoon body?
Is that what that is?
That was a...
Look like a roll of toothpaste.
It was Teagray.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
it was.
Yeah.
I think it was Teagray. I think I also used the
Right.
body for Lady...
Oh, what was that?
Yeah, Velrosa
Oh,
when we
okay.
did the burial for her too. So she's just
Yeah,
left
you left
over.
something behind on the road.
Whoops.
So
But-
disrespectful.
By the
All
way, purposefully and in game, Greybeard is uncharacteristically quiet and cheerless.
Noted.
Are
Are we back?
Yes, you guys are at the drawbridge.
I grab Finn, and I grab Greybeard as the rest of the party walks in, and I wait until everybody's inside.
Go ahead and move
And
your
I
tokens,
tell-
guys.
And I tell Greybeard that well, I say walk with us, Greybeard, and I start heading west towards where we buried Teagray. And about halfway there, at our very slow pace, because of Greybeard, I turn to Greybeard and I say, Finn is Teagray's cousin. And before we left to meet up with you guys, we buried him. And I nod my head over to where we buried him. And I tell Finn that Greybeard and Teagray were very close friends. And I think he would like to see his final resting place on the human plane.
Will place my hand on Greybeard's shoulder and then said, "Then we shall be friends." and I will lead you to the grave.
I kind of like, what are you wearing, chain or scale mail
Chain.
armor?
Chain.
All right, I thump you in the belly with my big dwarven paw, and I'm like, it's good to have friends. And then he looks worried after he said that, like, oh my god, now you're a dead man. He doesn't say it, but he gets that frightened look once he said it, and then just kind of starts lumping off towards the grave.
I'm very perceptive. I probably pick up on that, and I'll pat you on the shoulder knowingly.
And I stay back like 20 feet, giving Greybeard privacy at the grave.
Old GB kneels down in the dirt, and he he kind of looks back like, I hope they can't hear me, and he's gonna offer up a little prayer to Dumathoin, the dwarven god of craft and guardian of the dead, and he says, I know you're probably on some cloud or tree thing or something, but just in case, Dumathoin might, help get you there, buddy. Sorry I wasn't there when you needed me, but Armel's alive. I hope that's good enough. And he just takes a moment, almost half expecting to like hear Teagray message in his ear, like he's been doing for months now.
You actually think you see a coin on the grave mound, but your eyes just kind of it's almost like from the wetness and just the way the sun hits, you realize it's not a coin.
Awesome. That's amazing. As a player, as Greybeard, he wipes his face and stands up and tries to get composed.
And the coin, right?
If it had stayed there for a moment longer, yeah, I would have grabbed it, but no.
All right, and we'll even have just for narrative's sake, we'll say the sun is setting exactly as you three begin to. As this has all happened, you've said your moment of silence, and then you begin to walk back to Nightstone. You see torches are lit on the 2 tower, and you can see the drawbridge is lit by torches as you begin to walk back. All right. So let's move back inside as you guys make it back in. So everybody's back in, and we're in this big town square where we still have lots of people. And as you're there, Tegan kind of mentions to you who you have saved so far. So we could just go over some of the people that you have saved. Let me get them organized here a second, so I can see all their names. And yeah. There's a lot of them.
Do the tokens have names?
Yes. I'm going to read them off here in a second once I get them.
Can you show them?
Not unless I want to click in each one of them.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I'm just imagining like Sidiri there with like a clipboard and just like checking off names. Like, okay, you, all right, check. That's what I'm imagining right now in my head.
Yeah, that's actually kind of what's happening. We're getting a real count of who's survived and who hasn't at this point. I'm just organizing them in the families here real quick.
Once we get back into town, Finn and Armel will have that closed conversation.
Yeah. And we assume that you guys see them having a conversation. Is Armel going to stay, or is he going to like leave immediately, or what?
Well, he plans on leaving.
Okay, but not like just like heads right on out.
No. I'll leave in the morning.
Okay.
He's not crazy, Lucian. Come on.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys were able to save of the Driffendale family, and this is Tegan kind of talking to you, and she says, "I see many of the Driffendales have made it. They were the proprietors and the operators of the windmill, and we see that young Hilda has made it, the 14-year-old human daughter of the Driffendales. We see Zalf has made it, and that's her son. Renara is the person that runs the windmill. Her son, who happens to be in his 40s, Zalf, human male, has returned. Darson has also returned, which is her teenage grandchildren. So he's about 17. And of the Driffendales, Elisa, which was the one you brought back on the stretcher, is the wife to Zalf. So you guys saved Zalf's wife, Driffendale. And when he sees you bring him in, they kind of all rush over to her and start taking care of her. And that's the Driffendale family. So you saved all of the Driffendales except Olaf is missing. And apparently he must have been one of the ones that was killed by the Golemans. So they are missing that. That's of the Driffendales. Of the Summerhawk family, the Summerhawks were all halflings. And she is the apothecary of the town. And she had 4 young children with her. She had Barley, Midge, Nincy, and Dollop, all ages of 10, 8, 6, and 3. And you're able to rescue the halfling children and Taylor Summerhawk herself, and we're able to bring her back. Good job.
Huzzah!
Of the Halvarn family, they were potato and turnip farmers that lived in town here. Let's see who made it back of the Halvarn. Some of them did not.
I thought that was the name of the kids for a minute. They called them potato
So did
and
I.
turnip. Okay.
So Ellis, Galt, and Gehenna Halvern have made it back. Gehenna was the 12-year-old. Ellis and Galt are the 9-year-old twins. They have returned, but they are missing their mother Prenus, who did not come back, and Godric himself. So the Halverns are just children. Their parents did not make it back. Then we have the Ostra family. The Ostras were wheat farmers. And we have Thelbin, who's a middle-aged woman, and her husband Bryn. Did Bryn make it back? Ostra. Yeah, Bryn made it back. And then Broland is their nephew. He's in his early 20s. The who did not make it back were Bryn's elderly mother and young sister. They died during the goblin attack. And then Nesper family is the... these are pumpkin and squash farmers that lived in town. And the returning Nespers, you have Yandra, Sarvin. Anybody else? Nope, those are the 2 of the Nespers. So Yandra is the 15-year-old, and Sarvin is the 11-year-old. And the rest of their family, 3 of them died during the Goblin Ogre attack, which were the parents. So they lost their parents and their older sister. It's only the 2 younger siblings of the Nesper family has survived. So a lot of children, as you can see. Aganar. Destiny has made it back. Destiny Aganar is Nightstone. She's a tiefling. I guess I didn't realize that. but her son Grin did not make it back. And she was she took care of the stable house for Lady Nandar. And then I think we have Daphne Featherstone made it back.
Why does that name sound familiar?
Oh yeah, she's the lady in waiting for Lady Nandar. So she's the one that kind of helped organize everything.
She was the one we found in the cave about to be
Yeah.
eaten.
Yep.
Okay.
And she has everybody. There's the Mistroms also has made it back. But she's kind of gathered all of them, and she has told all of them that if any of them wish, she will take the children and they can stay in the keep for any of those that have lost the parents. She's not sure what they're going to do now that they know that Lady Nandar is passed. And then the other people go to their homes, and maybe some of them are destroyed. You know, some of them are destroyed farmhouses. Some of them are still intact. And they all just kind of pitch in and help each other out. But they also start having to clean up their houses of everything that had been ransacked and all that kind of thing. And they start to drift off into the town, and leaving the adventurers and the mercenary group kind of still camped in the town center.
I approached Teagray, or the close. Oh no, Teagray. She's the head one, and I asked her if there's enough food for them, how the food stores are.
Yeah, she looks to you and says, "I'm sure that we have plenty of provisions still in the keep, also in the lower levels of the keep, that we are there in case of some type of siege or something, and we can break those out and help any of the families. And even the farms are still here, but I'm mostly worried about so many children that have lost their parents. I'm not sure what we'll do."
Are you ready for the magistrate tomorrow?
Well, hopefully the magistrate will be able to help us figure out what's going to happen with the town of Nightstone, but I'm not really sure. He will be able to, what's it called? There's a will that Lady Nandra left behind, and he'll be able to officially, legally read that and award the will as it should be. I forget what the name of that is, what the word would be. Administer it, maybe? Something like that.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I agree. I just say don't. This would not be the time to go. If you do have to go out and gather more food and hunt, I would say do not approach the forest. This is not the time.
Yeah, we have no intentions of going anywhere near Ardreth for now or even for a while. That is not any more trouble that we wish to bring upon ourselves.
Good. Just making sure. It's humans. All right.
Elves.
So I'm going to ask... go ahead.
I just returned back to the party.
Okay.
So I want to ask Zoltan about the magistrate. What's the purpose?
Well, Waterdeep would want to. So you're talking to him, and they're all out in the courtyard, and he kind of looks at you like, well, the magistrates of Waterdeep would be the ones to decide what happens to a town such as this when such a calamity has happened, and they would send typically the magistrate here to decide that.
Interesting. So Jarrel doesn't really understand that part of how things work. He seems a little skeptical, but for now, just takes it at face value.
Okay.
Plus, he's tired, so he's gonna turn to Greybeard and just kind of pat him on the shoulder and kind of guide him toward the inn because he looks exhausted. Jarrel feels a little tired as well after carrying the bodies for so long. So he's gonna kind of guide Greybeard to his room at the inn, and then he's gonna retreat back to the.
I'm not sure Greybeard had a room at the inn.
He owned the inn last
He
thing I
owned
heard.
I own it, but I own
Yeah.
it, and I got my name on it, and I noticed no tavern keeper or innkeeper survived, so I'm happy about that. But yeah, I'll go back to the temple, where we
Yeah,
were
'cause-
all staying.
Yeah,
you
Ardreth
were
has a
saying that?
room that's not been destroyed. Zolkin has a
I'm
room
gonna
that's not been
head
destroyed.
up there.
The other 2 rooms have been destroyed.
Well, Armel's almost died twice today, so he's just going to go into the chapel and lay down in a pew.
I'll go up to that room.
So wherever Greybeard wants to go, that's where I'll direct him. If it's
Okay.
back to the church side, that's where I'll go.
All right, and we will finish up there. The mercenaries and the rest of the guards will be taking the watch, so you guys are able to get your rest at the chapel, I assume, which is where you've all been staying. Where is Finn and Coffee going to be staying? We wouldn't know that until now.
They would stay in the inn if there's any space.
I mean, there's rubble in the main room. You could have cleared some room and just slept on the floor, but there's no actual inn rooms available. Or
Well, then he'll stay in the chapel with Armel.
Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and start to wrap it up a little bit there, and then we'll be coming back with what happens next. So let's dole out the adventure. Finally, for that part of what we called the Dripping Caves has finished. You guys were able to defeat the goblins and the ogres. You were able to defeat the Black Pudding. You were able to defeat Hark and his bodyguards and 7 giant rats. And you even were able to extinguish the giant spiders, rendering the Dripping Caves free of monstrosities. You actually did find everything that was in there, which is nice.
Cool.
So that gives you, per PC, the first number you get would be, let's write this down so it's all right. For the Dripping Cave part, minus the spiders, you would have gotten 454 XP for the fighting. Rescuing the number of villagers that you did gets you another 400 per person. That gets us to 854. Adding in the spider encounter that you were able to defeat would give everybody one final bump, and that is going to be another 160. So everybody was able to accrue 1,014 XP
Holy cow.
for the Dripping Caves.
Woot woot.
What's that put you at?
1,914.
Okay, sounds pretty good. Sounds like you still need some to get to 4th, though, correct?
We need another 600? 800. 800, yeah.
Okay, so you're most of the way through 3rd, still not quite to 4th. The treasure, which is the bag that Ardreth has. Did you
What
write
bag?
down all
I
the
know
stuff?
not of any bag.
He got thrown at a spider earlier today.
There was
we're not
a-
in character. We're a player. You have a bag. Did you write down all that stuff, or
It was a bag of holding, but I don't remember what else was in it.
write this stuff down because I'm not going to save all this.
All right,
I'll throw
hold
this
on
note
here.
away.
Let me find a good place to store this real quick. Oh, here we go. It'll work on that. All right, got it.
All right, so there was 12 gold pieces, 55 copper pieces,
Okay.
87 silver pieces, there was a silvered salt and pepper shaker set. And in parentheses, you can put there that you approximate to be a 25 gold piece value. So
Okay.
definitely higher end. There is a set of tools there, and when you open it up, you recognize them to be thieves' tools, a full set of thieves' tools.
Okay.
In parentheses, you can say they're generally 25 gold piece value.
Nice.
And then there's also a holy symbol of Sylvanus,
Ooh.
also a approximate 25 gold piece value. And then the bag of holding itself, you recognize it to be a magical bag as you put all this stuff in, and you can tell that it doesn't bulk up or it doesn't change the weight or anything.
Okay.
That was what you found in that cave.
And so when we wake up, I'll share it all out. So.
All right. And I think we're going to mostly call it there. That will give Teagray time to come back, and we can have him actually run his character for the introduction of the new Coffee Black. And we can finish off with Armel. Are you telling people you're leaving in the morning? Do you want to have that as a scene tonight, as our
we can
closing
do that.
scene? Armel has talked to Finn, has, a look on his face, and then maybe approaches his group and then carry on.
Well, if we are all gathered in the tavern, the first thing I should do though is as Finn, he's going to approach Ian and say, "Captain, you have brought back the body of my family. I owe you a debt. I had planned on staying in Nightstone to help here, but my sword goes where you go." And then Armel will tell the group that he has been called back home and that he must leave in the morning on urgent business, but that Finn has agreed to stay in his place. And that odd coffee black fellow seems to go where Finn goes.
Wow. Okay.
This is at the tavern.
Wherever you guys want it to be. Tavern, temple, whatever.
Yeah, I keep thinking we should be in the tavern, but every time it comes up, it's like it's just trashed. There's no point in even going in there. So unless that dwarf gets it fixed up.
Yeah, I got that.
Oh,
lazy
I'm gonna
dwarf.
work on it.
So I'm I'm back at the church resting. So if this is happening elsewhere, then it's outside of earshot.
Yeah, he will make sure that everyone knows that he's leaving in the morning.
Wait a minute. All right. So, you. Oh, and then I guess I just give him a hug and kind of pick him up off the ground, and then I put him back to his feet, and I'm like, "I'll be completely surrounded by elves." Real quiet to him.
But you won't have the bear to take your kills.
I won't have the bear to watch my back, and I give him kind of like a wink.
You got that giant stag man over there with the horns coming out of his head. He'll probably do.
I actually genuinely look worried. Again, I think I've cursed Finn at this point. So I try to put on a brave face and kind of nod to Armel. All right.
Finn spots you looking and he gives you the finger guns and a smile.
All right, I might be able to drink with this guy. I don't say that, but I think it.
I approach you and I rummage around in my bag and I take out this lamp that I looted off of a goblin and a couple of oil things for the lamp. and I don't really hand it to you. I sort of thrust it at you, and I say, "You were a great and grand companion. Have this to remember us by, something to light your way back home." And I sort of wink at him because he's a human and can't see anywhere.
He takes it and says, "I'll see you back in the High Forest eventually."
Stay safe, Ren. I walk away.
So when you're in the church, Jarl will he'll wish you good luck on your travels, to be safe, and he does ask you your estimation of Finn and this coffee guy, since they're going to be kind of staying in your place.
Within my circle, Finn is considered a mighty warrior and a stout companion on any expedition. He's traveled the length and breadth of the land in his duties. As for the other, he is quiet, but Finn seems to trust him implicitly.
I like quiet. All right, very well. And he kind of gives you an arm clasp and wishes you the safe travels.
You as well.
And he's seen with Ardreth.
But
I don't know if you guys have known Ardreth long enough.
He just kind of came up with the cave with us.
So I'm kind of like, well, I know we just met, but at least now that silly Drow can tell me from you. So
Yeah, you'll laugh.
You're like part of the Saving Private Ryan. You know, like they pick up guys, just of other units, and they
fill in the parts.
Yeah. So, all right. We will fade out there on tonight's session. In our next session on Monday, we will find out what's in store next for our group as the magistrate shows up to Nightstone next morning. And we get a little bit of closure on what's happening at Nightstone and what our adventurers might be tasked with next if they so choose to accept. So definitely stay tuned. Hopefully, if you missed any of it, check it out on the VODs again on Twitch, or you can check it out on the YouTube channel. And I know Greybeard said,
links now.
Yep, he's posting links. You also said you wanted to do something at the end. Have you done that yet?
Nope. Give me 1 second to post.
Okay, so we're posting those links.
Link.
I'm going to put us on the character screen. By next week, we will have the new characters listed on there. As Teagray has now passed to Elven Heaven and moved on, Armel has been called back and replaced by Finn and Coffee. And the way he spells coffee is pretty funny because it's Kafeyblak. He just pronounces it coffee black, which is funny. So, and hopefully with Teagray back, hopefully next week we will be able to have a true introduction, since I wasn't able really to role play him, as I don't know how he wants to play that character quite yet. We should have a true introduction of our other elf, and at that point we do have a nearly full elven party and a dwarf tag along.
It's like duck, 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 dwarf.
I should have made you
Half
guys
elf.
humans.
Half elf.
Half
One
elf,
of these
true.
things is not like the other.
All right, guys. Great session. Let's go ahead and close the stream down. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Oh, Greybeard has one thing to say.
A holiday wish from Grandpa Snigbat. The holidays are upon us, and I'd like to focus and remember the good times, but there are none, because you took my head off with a rock. I stab at thee from Jubilex's gelatinous bosom. I stab at thee. Happy holidays.
And fade to black.